Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, I'd like to welcome our newest Park Board member, Ed Henley, here. He comes from us from the planning. Appreciate your service. Happy to have you. All right, so appeal of decisions. Let's see. Yeah, so 42307. No? It's my first time sharing, excuse me. Oh, this one. Yeah. Pursuant to the provision of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, please take notice that decisions of the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. We will now consider, is everyone up to speed on the past minutes? All right, do we vote on that? Do I have a second? A motion? Second? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, we'll move on to Metro Council referrals. Do you have any of those?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Cash is here today.
Hey, thank y'all for your service. There are two items on the agenda that I'm here about. One of them is the Portland Park naming. I'm excited about that. I hope you'll approve. I'm here with Belmont Hillsborough Neighbors Beautification Chair Quinn Evans Siegel and Met District 18 Beautification Commissioner Miriam Mims. They have both worked really hard on making this area a success and doing something with it. It's just been kind of green space for decades. And they've done some low-cost work on adding some greenery and gardening and have some other good plans for going forward. I appreciate your attention to this and hope it can be named. And there was a good process that we went through, that the Belmont Hillsborough neighbors went through to figure out if there were, they had about, 8 possible names, and they had a vote, and there was good discussion. So there was a good public process in coming up with this name. Also, I'm here because there's been negotiation about the New Year's Eve in Centennial Park, and my understanding is that it's either to be deferred or to be withdrawn. Is it to be deferred?
Yes.
Okay. Since the last meeting, I worked with council office and community leaders like neighborhood associations to set up and with the convention center folks to set up a meeting, a community meeting, to see what concerns were, gauge the level of support. And at one point when planning that meeting, I kind of got word that the CVC folks were renegotiating with Bicentennial, with the state, and that seemed pretty positive. It was moving in a positive direction, and that's the last I've heard. So I just wanted to make sure that we weren't moving forward with that and kind of understand if it's being deferred, because we're still working stuff out, or if it's being deferred longer than just a month is, I guess, what I'm wondering about.
So the last communication that you received from CVC is the same that we have received.
Okay.
It is still on the agenda because it has not officially been withdrawn.
Okay.
The word that we have gotten is they are working with the state to return to Bicentennial Mall.
But they haven't, just the ink hasn't
Yeah.
tried. Okay.
This has
All
not
right.
been withdrawn.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Any other Metro Council?
I don't see any.
No? Okay. Very good. Well, we'll move on to the old business. First order is 042307. Nashville Electric Service requests temporary easements and a permanent underground easement from Metro Parks for new infrastructure installation on Gay Street and along First Avenue at Fort Nashboro. The request relates to construction for a new substation and duct banks for an NES central substation, which is pivotal to the electrical service for downtown. So, we met earlier, I guess it's the Acquisitions Committee, and had a vote. And we approved, we approved the recommend approval to the board. Do I have a motion? I got a different order. All right, any questions? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion? Second? All in favor? Aye. All right, ayes have it. Next matter is the 052314, the Belmont Hillsborough Neighborhood Association requests approval to officially name the property located at the northeast corner of Portland Avenue and 21st Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee, as Portland Park. The Metro Park's own green space is located in the Belmont Hillsborough area. The BHH has an annual permit to plant a community-managed pollinator garden in this green space. The naming committee also met earlier, and we recommend approval to the board. Is there any discussion? I drive by this every day, so I like to see the activity there. Do we have a second? Excuse me, do we have a motion? Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, the ayes have it. Last item on the old business is 52315. The Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp. requests permission to host the 2023 New Year's Eve live Nashville Big Bash event at Centennial Park. Permission for amplification, consumption, and selling of alcohol, and to remain in the park after 11 p.m. This has been deferred to the next meeting, which, by the way, will be the second Tuesday in July, because the first Tuesday falls on the 4th of July this year. Let's see. Consent agenda. Where'd that go? Yeah. So any discussion on that? I have a motion to take the entire consent agenda in its entirety.
I move that we accept the consent agenda in its entirety.
Second, I'm good. All in favor? Yes, ma'am.
My apologies, I have one question. So a community member brought something to my attention around, something happening around the Titan Stadium, a park that they were going to use that they could not use because the Titans are holding it. I don't have all the details that I'd like, so I can certainly send it to you, Director Odom, but want to understand in scenarios like this, let's say that 6 months ago I applied to use a park, and then the Titans have come through and said that they want to use the same park. They get first right of refusal?
Not typically. No,
Okay.
not typically. I need to know the details. So, yeah. just
I do
send me the
too, I
details.
understand.
Okay, yeah, just send me the details.
Okay, thank you for that.
All in favor? The ayes have it. Moving on to new business. Is that right? Board to approve an open range salary increase and cost of living salary increase consistent with Metro employees for the Director of Parks as per the 2023-2024 Metropolitan Government Pay Plan. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like, I'd like to just open up I have some questions and some comments about this. I've always wondered how what the cost of living salary increase is a fixed amount, and I think that the open range portion of it is, to me, a little bit unclear what rate it is and how the process, I just wanted to get more clarity about the process of performance reviews and who is doing that. I think as a Parks Board, we are responsible for the department, and so I think just getting clarity on that. So I have, I guess.
So I'll start, and Aaron is our HR administrator and can get more detail, but the annual, or the COLA is approved by the Civil Service Commission, well, recommended by the, is the Benefits Board, Civil Service Commission, and then Metro Council must approve it. So that's the cost of living adjustment. And then also the merit increase, which this year's 3%, recommended merit increase is 3%. That's also a recommendation from the Civil Service Commission. In terms of the drilling down into the details of how they come up with that number, I don't know, and I'm not sure if Aaron knows that either. But then too, in terms of, as far as the director is concerned and any other employees, as a matter of fact, that merit improvement is based on a satisfactory performance evaluation. Dr. Steele performed my performance evaluation this year and last year and the year before that.
Okay, so is it, just to get understanding, so is it the board chair that performs the department's performance review?
For the director,
Go.
yes.
Okay, for the director,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It is the employee's direct supervisor who performs the performance evaluation.
Okay, and where I'm going with this is just to, for equity, consider an addition, I mean, I think that I'm interested in making sure that the Parks Director and the Parks Department is consistent with other departments. And so I would be in favor of forming a committee to evaluate that and to make sure that we are consistent among other Metro departments.
And so I would say, thank you for the recommendation. I would also say one of the factors that impacts pay improvements is budget. And all departments don't have the same budget amount. So that would be a consideration. While it has been what I have, the way I have typically moved forward with it is if the COLA and the merit pay improvements are approved by Metro Council, that is what we apply. We stick with those rates. And typically, those are put into our budget, added to our budget. But in terms of consistency, I think, across departments, I think you probably want to look at criterion, because I know HR treats departments or allows departments to, excuse me, to determine, what are we calling it?
Their own methodology,
Their
yes.
own methodology for applying or giving pay improvements. I basically stick to the standard, to what the standard has been made.
And that's actually correct. They allow each department actually to submit that. Usually there's a deadline for submitting your methodology, which I believe is the 9th of this month. And they allow each department to submit that, and then they would tell you whether that's approved or not.
Got it, okay. Well,
I had more of a question, Mr. Chair. Yes, if you don't mind, could you clarify, you want to form a committee to evaluate how we apply raises, how we evaluate the director, how we evaluate the department, or what in particular?
thank you for making me clarify. It would be an ad hoc committee that would determine, it would determine if the pay is consistent with other departments and if there were merit-based opportunities to increase, then we would take advantage of that opportunity.
So I'm unclear. I think we can have another conversation about this, because in terms of, correct me if I'm wrong, determining pay, salaries, equity, that is a function of Metro HR and the Civil Service Commission, who determines that. I mean, we can certainly look at it and I guess opine, but since we are a civil service department, I think that is their role to do that. And then in terms of if employees of the department are being equitably compensated, Lord knows we are all in favor of that. That too is a function of HR and an administrative function of the director. But so I'm not sure where we're.
Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, I think what I have learned in this meeting is that there is a process, and I didn't know that in advance. And I think that just highlighting that there is a performance component that's built into the chair's role, which is helpful. I think as a governing body, we need to know how these decisions are made and how the performances are done. And so I think so I kind of started this thinking that somebody needs to do those reviews and that we might need to figure out how that's done, who does it and how it's done. So I think we've got that part answered. And if everyone feels that what the HR department determines is satisfactory, that's fine. I guess I want to make sure that the Parks Department is getting what it should.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'll just say, I didn't know you had the question until you asked the question here today, but certainly, as usual, I'm always available for us to chat and answer any questions that you have about the process.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask another question? I know I come from a different board, and so we are onboarded to all of Metro's happenings. Is that something that the Parks Board does with new members? Any kind of training? Okay, so I would like to renew my ask for us to host a retreat, a lunch, something so that not only we can get to know each other, but any questions like this around process. I know there's at least the mandatory ethics training that each board has to complete, but it might behoove us to then speak to Metro HR or other department heads to understand how they onboard new members to make sure that these kinds of questions are answered before meetings.
Last year, we did a pretty cool field trip. We all got in a bus and went and booked at Shelby Park and some other things, and that way you kind of can get to know each other and talk, and maybe some of this procedural stuff you're talking about, maybe we can include that at lunchtime or something, kind of a.
And I will also add that as you all know, individually, as you become new park board members, that I have an onboarding session with you individually and walk through, kind of the overall orientation of the department. And certainly, if you have questions, please feel free to ask.
To be honest, this is more of thinking out loud, thinking about policy, something that we've been speaking with the mayor's office about, having more consistent trainings for all departments so that we really do understand what's happening with parks, with planning, with schools, with literally anything. So I'll talk to you later, Councilmember Cash, if you don't mind. I just said I'll reach out to you later, Councilmember Cash. Thank you.
I just echo I'm in favor of whatever type of onboarding, and I could be onboarded along with everybody else. I think it would be a great opportunity for us to have a chance to get to know each other and to dig into some of these things. I've been on the board for 5 years, and some things are still, we're still learning. So I would encourage us to find a time to schedule something like that.
Yeah, just as a quick clarification, so if we felt like you were not being paid enough, do we actually have the authority to, I'm just curious, or is it set, or paid too much? But of course not.
No. Okay.
But I mean, do we actually have the authority to do that, or is that like gotta go back through council, or is there, as long as we're on the subject, let's finish it? Or maybe we don't know.
Yeah, I do know. Come on, Aaron.
Uh-oh, Aaron, back up.
Let me just let him say this part.
Okay, for open range positions, it's actually an approval process. They give us a certain amount that we can use for that open range. Usually that is matched with the director getting that same amount if her merit increase from her evaluation is a positive and successful one. To request more, we would have to make a request for that. Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anything else? Any other discussion? Did we already have a motion? All right, how about a motion? Second? All right, all in favor? All right, ayes have it. Let's see. More new business, 62303, Friends of Warner Park requests acceptance of an in-kind grant not to exceed $1,027,489 to fund the next phase of improvements in Warner Parks. There is no required match or other obligation by parks associated with this grant.
Excellent. Staff recommends approval.
Good. All in favor? Aye. There you go. Approved. 62304, Creative Parks Nashville requests acceptance of an in-kind grant of equipment approximately valued at $12,500 for support and expansion of the music and visual arts program. There is no required match or other obligation by parks associated with this grant.
Staff recommends approval.
Do I have a motion? Discussion? Discussion? Seeing none, motion? Motion to approve. Second?
No
Vote?
discussion?
I think we had discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Ayes have it. Let's see, 062305, the Nashville Food Project requests acceptance of an in-kind grant not to exceed $60,000 to support a series of infrastructure projects at Mill Ridge Park. The projects include a pole barn, apiary installation, water catchment stations, community garden plots, and other site improvements. There's no required match or other obligation by parks associated with this grant.
Staff recommends approval.
Discussion?
Make a motion for approval.
Thank you. Second? All in favor? All right, the ayes have it. Let's see, a little more new business. 062306, Vanderbilt University Athletics Department requests acceptance of an in-kind grant valued at approximately $152,596 to replace the current video board at Centennial Sportsplex. There is no required match or other obligation by parks associated with this grant. The project will be paid for directly by Vanderbilt University Athletics.
Staff recommends approval.
Discussion?
I have just one point. Thank you very much to the Metro Parks Foundation Board for all the work that they continue to do to make sure that we have grants coming in, to make sure that they can keep us updated. I guess Director Odom and Mr. Johnston, I need to speak with you about how to keep you all updated with those conversations each month or each quarter. We'll put a pin there.
We'll put a pin there. Actually have a meeting scheduled with Parks Foundation Director the next week, I think. So,
That's perfect. Oh, hello, thank you.
All right, so I think, any more discussion on that? Do I have a motion?
Motion for approval.
All right, all in favor? Second, all in favor? All right, the ayes have it. Let's see, the last old new business is 062307. Staff requests approval of a memorandum of understanding between Metro Parks, Metro Nashville Police Department, and General Service to operate on a portion of the property located at Peeler Park, which is, of course, 2043 Neely's Bend Road, Madison, Tennessee, 37115. The shared space includes pasture space, a horse barn, training space, arenas, and other amenities. General Services will maintain the facility outlined within the conceptual site map. Staff?
Staff recommends approval.
Discussion?
What does it mean to operate?
Good afternoon, thank you. Captain Proctor with the police department and recently over the park police, so we're kind of jointly between the two. So when we say operate, general service, we have a service level agreement. They would be operational, anything that wouldn't be considered a program expense. So they would handle anything that's inside the building, not related necessarily to the horses. Operating outside of that area would be considered programming and would be on the responsibility of both the parks and the police department to handle those expenses.
There at, thank you, there at the park.
So right now, it's basically an open pasture, so
Okay.
everything would be constructed by General Services. I believe the mayor's office has already set aside funding for this process. It's just finding land to put the shared horse barn on.
How many horses are we talking about, just roughly?
Right now, we're looking at 15, and based on all of our numbers, where our current staffing is, optimal is 15 at this point. We're one or two short just because of unfortunate situations, but that's where we'd like to be.
So then a portion of the park is how many, I'm assuming acres?
Okay, so we're requesting 50 acres, and that would consider the pasture space as well as the conceptual site plan, which the barn and stuff was on. The state agricultural request about 2 to 3 acres per horse
yeah.
if you're doing and rotating your pasture spaces. This would put it at about 2.6, I believe.
And if I might add, this project has been kind of percolating or being worked on for at least 4.5 years. We have ultimately settled on the Peeler Park site, but other park sites have been considered in the past and kind of eliminated for various reasons.
This park already have horses and, no? Okay. What am I thinking of?
It is rural, though. It's rural.
Horse trails.
Correct.
I know I'm not crazy.
And it's rural.
Okay.
We didn't say you were
The only other horse trails are there at Percy Warner, so this actually is, we feel like the horse barn fits this community really well, and it's going to help activate that space for additional people and horses and come out and ride.
And I also add that Councilmember Tanya Hancock has been very supportive in this project as well.
Sorry.
That concludes my question.
Okay, and I guess I'm always curious about access from the public. So when you were saying programming, were you talking about public could have access to this area?
Outside of the conceptual space that would house the government-owned horses and barn and stuff like that, it would be very limited to the public access. Outside of that space, it would be open to the public and would be bringing in public for displays as well as additional trails for the public. So it would definitely have the mind of activating it for the public at the same time, having a place to house our 15 horses.
Got it. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
I'd just like to add, I'd say, one, I love to see interdepartmental MOUs, especially when we get facilities that are helping both departments and actually something that will provide a benefit to the public. I think the MOU outlines a few things that you mentioned pretty well here, but it does have an area about dispute resolution, and so it kind of leaves that at both of the directors' discretion, but that's two people, so who's the tiebreak? Like if it's 50-50, I just didn't see a provision in there for that, and I know it's probably unlikely we'll get there, but I was just curious if there's a legitimate thought on that.
The legitimate thought would be, unfortunately, if the two directors weren't able to reach a census, it would probably be sent up to the mayor's office for resolution.
Thank you.
Just curiously, I was trying to get out to Peeler Park and didn't quite make it. Do folks take their horses out there and on their trailers and ride around just like they do in Percy Warner?
Correct. It's not developed as well as Percy Warner, but when you go out there, there's usually 3 to 4, depending on what type of day and so forth. It is getting used. But
There's no existing barns like we have over at Percy Warner, right?
Correct.
For public use, all right. Let's see, any more discussion? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second, all in favor? Aye. Aye, ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see, I believe next is special presentations. Creative Parks Nashville is present for an annual update. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Crane. I'm the president of Creative Parks Nashville. Thanks for the opportunity to present our annual report. When it gets up on the screen.
Audio listeners.
Okay, well, Creative Parks Nashville's mission statement is CPN provides community-based leadership to Metro Nashville Parks and Recreation's music, theater, and visual arts divisions. CPN supports these divisions in their efforts to provide educational, arts-related activities and diverse cultural events for the greater Nashville area. That's our mission statement. The profit and loss report, do you guys have that in front of you? Okay. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We're spending it as fast as we get it, and that's what we're supposed to do, right? Our supplemental programs, we have almost tripled the number of workshops and students in the last 2 years and added 13 new workshops in 2023, which we're very proud of. Oh, let me get us back. Okay, this is where we're at, the supplemental programs. We've also doubled our students from last year to this year, and we're only halfway into 2023, obviously. Our visual art classes and workshops, CPN was able to fund 7 free classes for 118 youth and senior adults in the last fiscal year. Our inclusive art classes, we were proud to add 6 inclusive art classes for adults without or with disabilities. I actually went to one of these classes and it was very, very uplifting. Our music classes and workshops, we have added 10 free jam band classes for 105 youths. Our summer jam band camps, we have 2 summer band jam camps scheduled this summer, and I believe that they are both almost at capacity. This is a lot of stuff. Theater classes and workshops. CPN brought back a full theater production, which was The Lion King Jr. in April at the Levy Theater after 3 years of not having one. It was very successful and very cute. We were there for a couple of them. Our summer theater camps, we have 2 scheduled in the summer for the weeks in June and July. And I believe that they are also sold out. CPN supports Metro Park Summer Music Concert Series. We have a couple of free family events. One is Tales at Twilight. The other one is the Red Caboose Concert Series that are in full swing now. And CPN's second annual fundraiser, Starry Night, at the Centennial Art Center was a full, beautiful success as we had an attendance over 300 people. We highlighted programs of Metro Park's music, theater, and visual arts with performances from the students. This is a couple of pictures. This is the artist garden from Starry Night. And then an artist rendering. That was a really fun event. The Big Band Dance, this is our new logo for the Big Band Dance, which I'm very, very proud of. We have a very talented artist on our board page who has created this. I would also like to thank John Timonello, and I think he's here somewhere, and the Centennial Park Conservancy for their consistent support of Creative Parks Nashville. This is our Big Band Dance lineup for this year. I hope we get to see you all. We're at Centennial Park every Saturday night. We were also very honored to be featured on Channel 5 with Miss Cheap's 2023 guide to free things to do this summer in Middle Tennessee. And that's it. Thank you. Do you have any questions or?
Sounds like y'all do some incredible work. That's quite
We do a lot of stuff.
Quite a growth platform there.
We do. We have a very talented little board, very committed. Thank you.
So next item is capital projects update with our own Tim Leach.
Good afternoon, everyone. As usual, I'll just hit on highlights or major changes since last month. For the Gay Street Park redevelopment project, we're about to launch the third and final round of public engagement on that. At the previous rounds of engagement, we had very little, really almost no participation at the actual public meetings and very robust engagement online with the online surveys. So this round, we're doing an online survey to get a final round of input on that project, and then we'll move forward on design. A new project on your list is the Fort Negley Master Plan Phase 1. As you are aware, during the last capital spending plan, Mayor Cooper allocated significant funding to begin to implement that plan. So as of yesterday, we have a design proposal in hand from the consultants on that project, and we're reviewing that. And once we negotiate a final scope of work and price, then we'll get moving on that project. Also, I believe it's new on your list this month is Fort Negley Stonework Repair Phase 2, which is they've mobilized on site and will be working there for about a year. Hartman Park the restrooms project, this is one of the participatory budgeting projects, and procurement has released that project for construction bidding. Those bids are due next week. Madison Station is a new one on your list. It's also one of the projects that was recently funded in the capital spending plan. We have a proposal in development on that project. That's funding for design only. So we'll go through that design process. It will include updated cost estimates, and then that will inform any future capital spending plan request. Mariposa Park, we're wrapping up the master plan document itself, just a little bit of editing there, and then that same design team is developing a proposal for the design phase, so we'll move right into design phase on that. That's another one where we received master planning and design funds. There's no funds currently for construction on that project. At Mill Ridge Park, construction's still going on, but we're closing in. We expect to hit substantial completion next month on that. At Ravenwood, we're a little further ahead and hope to hit substantial completion on that this month. And those are the highlights. At Woodmont Park, Friends of Woodmont Park has completed their basketball court construction project, and Phil and his crew have been assisting with some aspects of site recovery. And at Warner, I have the depaving and picnic shelter project completed. That's one of Jenny Hannon's projects with Friends of Warner, and it's wrapping up with 2 really beautiful new picnic shelters. That's it.
Any discussion? Any questions?
I was wondering if you could talk about the archaeology component to the Fort Negley work.
Yes, for the master plan implementation or the stonework, or both?
Both.
Okay, for the stonework repair, for all of the excavation work, that is being monitored by archaeologists, and if in the course of excavation work they hit anything that the architects determine they need to pause and review, they'll do that. And in fact, if they get to that point and they determine that it's no longer appropriate to be doing excavation with equipment, the archaeologists would go in and then continue that excavation work themselves. For the master plan, of course, for design phase itself, there's no archaeological work. The master plan identifies specific protocols for archaeological monitoring during construction. So in the design documents, it will include those protocols and specifications so that the general contractor who is awarded that work has to conform to those requirements.
And I just wanted to add that to implement the master plan, we've had to submit a waiver to the Tennessee Historical Commission for, implementation, and that has been submitted, I believe.
Any other?
I had one question, and Tim, I know we voted on the Nashville food project in-kind donation. Is there an approximate schedule or dovetailing of that with Mill Ridge Park Phase 1? Just roughly, I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Mill Ridge Phase 1 will be completed this summer, and then Jim may have worked on that request from Food Project and may have a better sense of timeline for implementation on that. Timeline for food projects, development project?
The food project, is that the grant you just approved?
Yes.
For the grant that you just approved, they have not gotten the grant yet, so we don't have a timeline. So that's just to move forward with applying for it. Then they'll get the grant, and then they'll come back to us and get approval for the specific plans. So we don't have a specific timeline yet.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Great, thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the work y'all do. So next is Greenways, Cindy Harrison. About to pull Bueller on you. Sorry, I watched that the other night.
Grand entrance. No. Hello, thank you all. Going to run through our projects. The Charlotte Corridor Railway Trail. We're continuing to meet with property owners. We had a meeting this morning as we finalized the route and are looking for easements for where this trail will go. So we're making good progress on that. The Sevier Park to Browns Creek 440 Greenway, we've got 50% construction documents on that. We are submitting to TDOT to finalize the excess land license agreement. And when that's completed, we'll go back out to the public to get their final input and to show them the final routing plans for that. The 440 Greenway from Park Plaza to Centennial Park, we're coordinating with NDOT on utilizing some of the space, the actual roadway space, and raising that and separating that from the street to give us the width that we need there. Both of those 440 Greenway projects are going to have lighting. The existing phase 1 will be retrofitted with lighting, so it's part of those projects. The Fort Negley Greenway to Browns Creek feasibility study is underway. We'll be walking the preferred route next week. And again, that's feasibility study, but just to see what all it's going to take to be able to make that connection. And in that same vein, the Wharf Park to Riverfront Park Greenway feasibility study is also underway. The consultants presented some detailed concepts to us last week. And we're trying to narrow that down to at least 2 so that we can develop costing estimates to present. The Opry Mills Connector, we have submitted everything. We've gotten all the approvals on the environmental. We are waiting for a letter from TDOT to say go. And we have our bidding documents ready. We are just waiting on that letter. We've been extremely busy the last, I would say 3, maybe 4 weeks with projects that are being submitted to the Planning Commission, development projects that have greenways associated with them. And right now we've got 20 projects that are in some way affected, private development projects that have an effect on greenways, whether it's an easement or actual building of a greenway or contributing open space to metro parks. And as this fiscal year ends and the council is ending their terms, we've had a lot of developments come in. Ed is extremely familiar with that. Everyone trying to get in that timeline before council turns over. So just a highlight on some of those, a couple of new ones, I guess, that you haven't seen. There's a proposed SP project of mixed-use development on Davidson Street, where we have protected bike lanes right at the entrance to Shelby Park. And that involves a greenway, and also it's at the entrance to Shelby Park. So we're really interested in what happens there. There is another rather large development proposed off of Trinity Lane called Riverside, which fronts the Cumberland River, also is proposing greenway and park space there. Coincidentally, another SP project called Riverside is at the corner of Clarksville Highway at Ted Rhodes Golf Course. It's a multifamily development, and we're looking at how to tie that development into the existing Richland Creek or Cumberland River Greenway, and also giving the Greenway access to Clarksville Highway. So we're working through that with the developers. The Ariza Bellevue project on the Harpeth River Greenway was deferred again at their last planning commission meeting. So I'm assuming it will be on the upcoming meeting. And as you know, that involves greenway improvements and open space acquisition there. We've got Ben Allen Greenway, which is trail-oriented development. You all approved the easement for that. That's going through, on its way through council. Modera Nations, also on the Cumberland River in the Nations, is working its way through council, another that you all approved the easement on. And Friends of Warner Park has an acquisition that we're working on with them that is first reading of, it's the only reading of council tonight. And then we have several others involving Warner Park on the way through council. Those are the highlights. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. Upcoming activities with Jackie Jones, my favorite part.
Well, great. I have the fun stuff. So I think today is a perfect example of the phrase summer in the city. It is hot and it's a lot going on, and the same thing applies to parks. So I'm going to try to go through this very quickly because I think you all have 3 or 4 pages of events. So I'm not going to necessarily go through all of those. So Two Rivers Mansion is offering guided tours through the end of July. There will be a Day at the Mansion event on Saturday, June 10th at 10 a.m. After that tour in the mansion, they will offer a yoga workshop for beginners for those who are interested. The Red Caboose concert series runs every Friday night through the end of June at Bellevue Park, or some like to call it Red Caboose Park. The concert starts at 7 p.m. and is free and open to the public. Our big band dances are back, and that's probably one of our most popular events. And the event is scheduled for Saturdays through July 29th. It features local big band dances and bands that play music like Glenn Miller's Pennsylvania 6-5000. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with that. Never mind. Okay, never. But just a few of the bands on the schedule. Just a few of the bands on the schedule are Merchants of Cool, Radio Days, and the Lynn Beale Big Band. We have ice skating going on at the Centennial Sportsplex on Tuesdays at 11, Wednesdays at 11, Fridays at 11, and Saturdays from 11 to 1. At 10:30 on Friday, July 16th, we hope all of you all as board members, and certainly the members of the public, will attend the unveiling and dedication of a new sculpture called Path to a Higher Note. That's going to be in front of the Centennial Arts Center. I know there were some folks. There's Josh. Josh is heading that project. Any words of?
It commemorates Juneteenth, and with Friday starting the weekend prior.
He has done a lot of work to spearhead this effort, and he's a great person to be able to articulate all of the details regarding this project.
I'll keep it brief.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was created in 2021 at the first federally recognized Juneteenth celebration at the Black on Buchanan Block Party, using 100 or more community participants. It's a mosaic sculpture, and it is donated by the generosity of Vanderbilt's Curb Center for Art and Enterprise. And we are honored to have it here on the grounds of Centennial Park in front of Centennial Art Center, as it brings awareness to the history of the Juneteenth holiday. And we hope to see you there for that special unveiling next Friday, June 16th at 10:30 a.m. Thank you.
He'll get me back for that, I promise. And finally, Vanderbilt University is collaborating with Pepsi, Hoop Bus, and the Parks Department to introduce an all-new outdoor basketball court at Watkins Park. The event is to take place on Thursday, July 15th at 11 a.m. And in addition to the things that I've mentioned, we also have movies in the park, the Musicians Corner Spring Series, the Fever Candlelight Concert at the Parthenon, and much more. If you are interested in the events that I've talked about here or other events, you can always log on to our website. That's www.nashville.gov/parks. And that concludes my report.
Any discussion? Wow, thanks.
You're welcome.
Report of the director.
Thank you, sir. Before I walk through just a few items, and I'll keep my report brief, as well. I'd like to introduce to you all Mr. Joe Stovall. If you stand up, please, Joe. He is our new Assistant Director for Planning and Special Projects. He started yesterday. He'll be leading our planning division and capital projects as Tim Nash kind of transitions or straddles the fence between parks and focusing on the East Bank project. We're glad to have Joe with us, and Joe joins us from Chesterfield County Parks and Recreation in Chesterfield County, Virginia, where he has served for the last 5 years as the Construction Services Manager, coordinating and managing projects from land purchases and negotiations to conceptual design to completion of construction projects, completion of construction, excuse me. He graduated with a BS in Environmental Management from Columbia Southern University and is certified by the NRPA as a Parks and Recreation professional. Joe served 11 years in the U.S. Navy as a combat medic with the Marine Corps. Joe has worked in public works and parks and recreation in local government settings for 17 years and enjoys the challenge of serving citizens and finding solutions. In his free time, he loves golf and watching professional baseball. He has 2 daughters, 19 and 15, and the oldest just finished her freshman year at JMU. So we'd like to welcome Joe and hope you all have a chance to meet him personally. I think you have, most of you, and you'll get to know him as he works with our team. From there, as you all know, we had our council budget hearing on May 18th. Thank you, Ms. Scott Barnes, for joining us. I know all the rest of you all were there in spirit. We felt your support. It was a positive hearing. Our requests that are included in the mayor's proposed budget total about $5.3 million for the operating budget. This administration, Mayor Cooper's administration, has been generous to our department, both on the capital side and operating side, and they've been receptive to our needs, so we're thankful for that. I do, however, want to remind you all that our department has been underfunded or under-resourced for over 20 years, and we don't get out of that kind of legacy deficit in 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 budget cycles. Nevertheless, we are very thankful for the investments of Mayor Cooper's administration. Our ad hoc Miracle Field Committee, comprised of staff and Vice Chair Johnston, should have an update and recommendation for moving forward with development of ball fields and park amenities exclusively for young people with unique needs and with inclusive play in mind, probably at our August meeting. Our next committee meeting is just after the next Parks Board meeting, so we'll give an update to you all and make a recommendation in August. We had a successful first session with Metro's DEI team. Our senior staff team had a session with Metro's DEI team, and we look forward to continuing our series in August. I am hopeful that our working with Metro's DEI team will help us be more effective as a team and engage the community. And, we're working to make sure our staff and team here are able to engage with our community certainly in an effective and efficient manner, but certainly that we are reflective of the community that we serve. Our park system, as Jackie mentioned, is very busy. Summer programming has started in community centers, cultural arts, nature centers, at revenue-producing facilities. Maintenance staff is still preparing facilities and locations for summer activities, and special events, as indicated by the consent agenda, are hopping. With all the activity in the system, we are still working to fill vacancies. We've seen some improvement, a lot of improvement actually, though the labor market still brings some challenges. recruitment and retainage are still challenges, but again, I think we're in a better situation than we were in last year. And we at Metro Parks are not, those challenges are not unique to us. Our vendors are experiencing some of those same challenges. So as I mentioned last month, we are being impacted by some supply chain issues. And then too, some of our vendors are having some personnel issues too in terms of hiring. So that certainly does impact our operations and repairs, and we ask that folks be patient and compassionate with our staff as we, work to make parks and recreation facilities and locations fitting for everyone to enjoy. And last but not least, I would like to thank Greenways for Nashville for these lovely bags that they have passed out to the board. They're called the last bag, and they're indestructible. I don't know if they're available for purchase or not, but they're very nice. So thank you, Greenways for Nashville, for thinking of the Parks Board. Any questions? Thank you.
I don't have a question, Director Odom. I just want to shout out the Centennial Sportsplex staff because I work out there and they are the most kind, most helpful professionals. So thank you.
Thank you so much. John Holmes, come take a bow. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging it.
For sure.
All right, any other announcements, requests for future agenda items, open items? Seeing none, I guess we will adjourn.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.